Hey guys, welcome to episode 7. My guest this week is a Facebook comedian. You might have seen his parody of It, where he suggests that the clown in the drain is a crackhead, or his clips about Black Friday and Facebook culls. I've got to say, this podcast is primarily about science and tech and the dystopian future in which we now find ourselves. So it's actually refreshing to just sit back and chat shit about, I don't know, hip hop and social media and investment banking in the US. Please leave a like and a comment and let him feel the love. Give it up for Mr. Matt James. Matt James, how the fuck's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've got a beer. It's Friday night. I've got
Yes, it is.
Passed out baby right next to me, so
Oh, nice.
yeah. Things are pretty good. There's no COVID in our house yet.
Is there not?
No. Have you had it?
I've had a test. I've had a scare, but I haven't had it. No.
Oh, really?
I know people that have.
Yeah. I feel like it's coming. Like I know it's going to hit me at some point, and I've got this real fear inside of me that I'm going to be the guy that's in the newspaper where it's like 40-year-old father of 2 with no.
Oh, you're gonna be a statistic.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be
you're
the
gonna
story.
be one of the 1,000 odd a day statistic, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's gonna be made worse now that I've said that on here because people are gonna be like, "Fuck, look, he even said it on his podcast. That was only like 3." Like I keep saying to Lucy, I'm like, I could be fucking dead in like 2 months. That's how.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah,
I know. It's quite scary.
Yeah. So you've had the false alarm, no antibodies, no positive results.
No, I did the test. I had that's because I had the test and trace.
All right.
So that went off. So I had to isolate for 12 days.
Yeah.
Then I got forced. My boss sort of kind of pressured me into getting a test. So
yeah.
And then I ended up getting one, but nothing.
Fair. Well, long may that continue. Yeah. I'm hoping that in the next couple of months we can just get vax the fuck out and then
yeah baby,
pick up where we left off. I really want to. I want to go into a pub with all my mates and then start a
just
piss
by yourself.
yeah.
Just by yourself, then.
Yeah. You fucker.
Yeah.
I want to go in the pub with all my mates and the first thing that I say is now where were we? Like that. I've planned it in my mind.
Start as we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or start a gig like that.
I've kind of forgotten what a night out feels like now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I could handle it. I think I'd get pretty wasted easily. Yeah.
I mean, welcome to the last 4 years of my life. I feel like since when you become a dad, or a mum, I guess, your freedom to go out obviously disappears. And then when you do go out, you kind of, firstly, you don't have the tolerance, but secondly, you feel like you need to make up for lost time, like on
yeah, of course.
Have you seen that film Old School with Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
My
first
yeah. So, and how he's sort of, under the thumb in it, and then when he does go out, he's Frank the Tank. Yeah. And I feel like, that movie speaks to me a little bit too clearly on the nose.
I'd like to see you go all Frank the Tank though.
I'm not ruling it out. I thought the other day, wouldn't it be fun to create a sort of a little if you went through your granddad's house or something after he passes away, there'd be a little box of keepsakes or whatever. And I thought it'd be really cool to make a little box, but inside the box is just stuff that you're going to use. It's your I've just been vaccinated kit, and inside it there's going to be a cigar, and then there's going to be 2 grams of coke. And then a baggie of MDMA and some Nurofen for the next morning, and
that's a fun box to find.
Yeah,
that's a good weekend.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not advocating that people should go out and buy drugs. I'm just saying that
they should get them off their granddad.
Yeah, and also that if we're going to put the vaccine in our bodies, then maybe some other stuff is all right too. It's
that's true. Yeah, of course.
It's good. Let's talk a little bit about you and your background and where you come from and and all that jazz. So you and I met each other through the now defunct social media app Vine.
Vine. Yeah, we did.
What were you doing before that? Because you.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that we met each other?
I'm
It
gonna
feels like
say
a long time ago.
it could it be as long as 10 years ago, or is that
Is it
me?
10?
I mean, it's about
Ah,
6 since
no.
Vine died, and it was around for 3 or 4 years, wasn't it? So
Shit.
it may be that long. Um,
Yeah, no, it can't be. It can't be 6 years since it defunct. Can't be.
I think it is, man. I
Is
think.
it?
Oh well, I was doing Vine when I was living in Guildford, and Jacob was 0 years old then.
Yeah.
Actually, it was
That's good.
before he was around, so that's got to be 5 years ago that we were still.
No, because I was. Wait a minute. I was living in an old school building. I remember that, and that was
Oh yeah,
so that'll be about 6, 7 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we first came to know of each other through that app, and you were doing
Yeah.
sort of quite near the knuckle videos, and I was sort of trying my best to be a little bit edgy. And
Yeah, you were. I saw you first.
oh really?
Yeah, through the STC.
Oh
I
yeah,
was I
yeah,
was quite new to it.
yeah. And then oh yeah, so then we like formed our sort of like little collective, and but before that, had you done like comedy stuff, or you been involved in it
No,
at all?
no. I'd done me and my mate Mike. He's been in a couple of videos, old videos. We just did little silly videos
Yeah,
that we didn't think would ever happen. Nothing would happen of it. We just did little stupid things. Then we saw Vine
yeah,
and we started that, and then I just carried it on. He didn't really carry it on, but I just
yeah,
kept going at it. And I thought, oh, actually, could be something I quite like doing. So
yeah. And then
yeah,
so then you got quite a following on there, and through the STC page, that got quite well, I don't know if you'd really class it as a following. It's like sort of what was it, like 20 or 30,000 followers, mostly made up out of
yeah, they're all made up.
follow, like following bot. They would like
All
follow
bots,
people,
yeah.
immediately unfollow them, and then
Exactly. So it's 10 followers and
yeah,
40,000 bots or whatever it was.
yeah. But we like I think we were sort of I mean, there was Vine fame, like genuinely famous people on Vine, or like had started on Vine, and then there
Yeah.
was sort of like like I got recognized once in the Sky cafeteria by a guy. He was
Did
just
you?
like, "Oh, you're that guy in SDC, aren't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." Um, you know, felt really good. Not gonna
Then he
lie.
hit
No,
you.
he should have done. Yeah.
He should have, yeah.
But yeah, so then we were doing like Vine stuff for a bit, right? And then Vine collapsed, and now you've kind of moved on to like Facebook kind of skits, sketches, parodies,
Yeah, well,
that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
I started doing them when I knew Vine was going to collapse.
Mm.
And the first video did quite well that I did, and then but the thing is, they take so long
Yeah.
to do, so long to edit, and when you work full time,
Mm.
I can't like do what I used to be able to. I didn't think I'd be able to do a joke in 6.5 seconds the way I used to.
Yeah.
I've forgotten how to
Yeah.
do that. It has to be over a minute or something.
Yeah.
You
I
know what
prefer
mean?
like longer form stuff anyway. Like I always felt like with
Yeah.
Vine, and more recently with TikTok, and Byte, which is the sort of new Vine. But
Yeah,
these,
I've seen it, but I've not.
yeah, I quite like, but I prefer the users on Byte, like the people that comment and like and stuff. But I feel like that whole format of like short form video is so conducive to kind of base level shit comedy.
100%. So there has to be a punchline usually.
Yeah, but it's like
Yes.
it'll be like a sort of like a soundbite of Samuel L. Jackson saying something, and then someone who like they'll commandeer it and like reinterpret it to mean like, oh, when you eat your hot dog too quick, and then they say like, and I'm like, I don't like, it doesn't float my boat. But obviously,
No.
I'm in the minority because it's the biggest fucking app in the world now, right?
Yeah, it's massive.
Have you thought about like going onto TikTok to promote your
I
Facebook
did.
stuff?
I did. I tried
right.
uploading a few old videos, and they got removed straight away. I lasted like 2 seconds. I thought, fuck this. I can't be asked for this.
Yeah.
But no.
Your It one does quite well though, still, right?
The It one did well.
Have you been recognised from that?
No, I have been recognised from Vine. That was in Nando's. I was in Kent, I think.
Really?
Some like Yeah, some like young kid like walking past outside the door,
Yeah.
and they're like these two kids like pointing at me, and they came into Nando's while I was queuing up.
Yeah.
And I just felt really awkward, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only time I've been recognised.
What did you say? Thanks for watching.
I say, yeah, cheers, thanks. Do you want to buy me Nando's?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, but I've only get recognised off people that are obviously friends of my friends, and they've seen the videos.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in Norwich watch my videos more than anything.
I see.
So, yeah.
So you're Norwich famous, which is a whole other thing.
Sort of Norwich famous, not really.
Yeah.
Not properly.
That's cool.
No, but yeah, it did well, but I never really quite get excited about it because it never really made a dent on my life. It was just, it did really well.
Yeah.
But it didn't change anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get any money out of it. It didn't lead on to anything.
You kind of made the opposite of money in a weird way, didn't you? Because didn't a couple of people fucking nicked it and re-uploaded
yeah, they
it?
did, yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube they did.
Fuckers.
So they got all the views, and then I've got like 300,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
But all the monetization from that goes to, because I use like 2 seconds of music.
Yeah.
Goes to whoever owns that music.
Ah.
The whole monetization does, yeah.
That's so shit. Like, is it literally just 2 seconds and it just picks it up?
Yeah, that's what they said to me. Yeah, it was like, well, I used more than that. I'm sure I did, but they said, but they specified the 2 seconds of music is owned by BMG or whoever it was.
Yeah,
and they get all the money from whatever that. It would have only been about 300 quid or something. So, but
still though, it's like a nice feeling that something that you made that isn't your day job, something you built is.
It would be nice, to earn a bit of money. Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone like approach you through your Facebook page or like YouTube or whatever and say, like, I like your stuff, a little bit near to the knuckle sometimes. Why don't you come with us, write some stuff, write some sketches?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, I wrote with Dapper for a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did write a couple of sketches for him, but he never used them. And who else? I have had when it was doing well. I did have an agency approach me.
Yeah.
About putting me on their books. I guess that they then in turn went and watched the rest of my videos and then never got back to me. So that's the catch-22 I have. You know, I want to make a career of it, but I don't want to I don't want to water anything down. I don't want to appeal to the masses. I want to do what I want to do. Yeah. Which is I'm my own biggest obstacle. Yeah. Comes to that.
But then it's like I remember like listening to a guy, I don't know if it's on a podcast or it was like some sort of radio thing last week. I think they were talking about an album, making an album over the space of, I think it was Dr. Dre actually, now I'm thinking about it. And he was like saying something about like, you know, do you want to just quickly rush out an album with a couple of hits on it that kind of gets to number 3 in the album charts, and then 3 months later everyone's like, yeah, whatever, we've moved on? Or do you want to take your time over like 3, 4, 5 years and then build something that is, you know, truly special that will last the test of time? And I'm not putting you quite on the same pedestal as Dr. fucking Dre.
No.
But,
no. I don't put any time into it, really.
Well, there's a parallel though still to draw there, isn't there? It's like, you know, do you want to go the easy route? Or do you want to have something that's got the credibility there that in, you know, 5 or 10 years time you can look back and go like, yeah, well, I did what I was actually interested in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, I could quite easily just cash it in, just do pranks or steal everyone's jokes and make a killing off of that. But I can't do it. It has to be a joke that I don't know exists. Yeah. There's a lot of times that you do something that you come up with an idea that has already happened, but you don't realise. I do try to research, make sure that no one's done it. Yeah. And, sometimes, like you think up an idea for a joke, just a sort of outlying kind of concept. Yeah. And then you message your mate and you go like, "This sounds like It's probably like a sort of imposter syndrome thing. It's like I don't believe that I could have just come up with this. Like this is
That's not me. Like,
Yeah.
so have you heard this before? Have you come across this? Does this sound familiar? And then you tell them, and they're like, no, like that's if it's been somewhere, then I haven't seen it. And then you start second guessing yourself. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if I did think of it, maybe it's not that funny. Maybe it's not. Or like when I checked with him, if
Exactly,
like
yeah.
he didn't laugh, he just said, no, I haven't
Yeah.
heard that before. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, me and Stoff have had that a couple of times where we've stolen each other's jokes unintentionally.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I did a joke on Vine. I can't remember what it was, and then apparently Stoff. In turn, I'd watched Stoff's video. I'd forgotten about it, and that became an idea of mine. And then I did it. But Stoff did the same thing as well with one of my videos.
There's a name for that actually, like an actual like medical name for when you watch someone's stand up or a sitcom or something, and you laugh and it sort of sinks in vaguely, and then 10-15 years later or however long it resurfaces as inspiration, and through no fault of your own, you think that you just came up with it. And it sounds so implausible if you were talking to somebody that didn't ever write comedy, but it is real. Like, I've had moments like that when I've been like, is that like I remember seeing or thinking this before, but did I just think of it? Is that what I'm remembering? Or so like, going back to Vine and stuff, so there was yourself and there was us in like the SDC lot, and then there was a few other like names and faces, like over this side of the pond, famously Dapper, who I still think is quite an incredible story. I don't suppose they'll ever make an ITV documentary about it, but to get,
might do.
Do you think maybe he'll produce it?
Not an ITV one, maybe a documentary, not an ITV one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if I scan my memory back to that point, it was like here's how the trajectory of that went. It was like he was an MC that was running nights in Clapham, and I had performed at them a load of times. But in my mind, he was just this MC guy who was like running his own nights, and I was shit, but I was sort of starting to run my own nights as well. So I imagined him to be a sort of better looking, slightly more accomplished version of what I was trying to be. I certainly didn't think he was like any sort of big deal. And he came across, when he was emceeing, he came across as sort of a little bit Buttlinsy, like quite TV presentery and cheeky chappy-ish. And anyway, then I think I was talking to this girl, this stand-up. Sorry, excuse me a sec. A dummy back in my infant's mouth.
I haven't seen the baby yet.
I'm not going to show her to you right now. You can look at this one though. This weird baby doll. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I certainly didn't think that he was any sort of big culture superstar, pop culture superstar. And this girl Polly Brown, who I think has just quit comedy completely, but she was like, "Oh yeah, like he's got hundreds of thousands of followers on Vine." I was like, what the fuck? So then that's when I downloaded the app and I looked at him and I was like, fuck, like how has he done this? And I was like watching his Vines and I was like, cheekily laughing along, and then I remember feeling quite inspired that somebody who had basically come from outside of the industry, like he wasn't a TV guy, or he didn't go to like through media studies, and he wasn't one of these like privately educated Oxbridge comedians, and somehow he had like circumvented that whole thing and used this app to just explode, and he was selling out gigs, he was doing like a national tour, I think, and I was blown away. I was like, maybe this is the route then. You just get online, do your own shit, and then you don't have to worry about, slogging away for 10 years to get on fucking Mock the Week or some shit. Like, and then when he got hauled onto Newsnight over the sort of rape gag in
alleged.
Yeah.
Well, not alleged, but
it's like, as I understand it, he was on stage. Somebody said that the girl in the audience was gagging for rape. Then he repeated it and said, what? Like, she's gagging for a rape? And then And then the journalist heard that and then reported that, and then 2 or 3 weeks later,
he reported that.
Yeah,
he heard it all. Yeah,
yeah. Maybe there's some element of I don't know, like sabotage to it from the tabloid journalist. I don't really know, but
of course.
So then he gets hauled onto Newsnight, and then they cancel his show, or it's not renewed or anything, and then that was, I mean, I think before all of that happened, it felt like he had gone around the mainstream, used social media to amass this huge following, got himself this ITV2 show, and then he probably would have gone on to like I think he would have made a good Saturday night like variety show host. Like, he's very amiable, very likable, and he's not always like dapper laughs. He's quite sort of he could do family friendly stuff. I think he used to actually work in like, did he? Am I making it up if I say like he used to do some sort of like holiday camp stuff?
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm misremembering. But he that's where I saw his sort of career going. And then when he was hauled off and they didn't renew his series, I was a bit like, what the fuck? Like, and now I think he's doing does he do like bar promotions and his YouTube and Facebook?
He's doing really well.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing. He's doing it because he's started his own beer company, and
yeah, right. So I was talking to him just before.
Oh, mate, he's killing it, really.
Yeah, I think he's got a really good,
quite business mind,
really good talent for like pivoting. That's what I get from him. It's like he went up the social media route, pivoted, went to ITV2. That didn't work out, and he was crushed by tabloid hysteria. Pivoted again, went out on his own, started building up. He was doing didn't he do like a Friday night show on Facebook with Nick?
Yeah, the Friday Night Live or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
And his movie that he did, and now this beer stuff. Like, because when I was talking to him before Christmas about maybe trying to get him on, he was saying about that promotion, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, like we'll just do it when you got time. So yeah, he's sort of relentless in a way. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Me, I'm a quitter. Yeah,
I'm a quitter. I'm like that as well. Yeah.
So who else was there? There was Dapper. There was Aaron Kraskell.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know what
I've never met Aaron.
Have you not?
No. I know. I believe he's a lovely guy. I've heard.
Yeah, I think he's on. Like, didn't he? I think he went on to do like a prank show with ITV or something.
Yeah, he did. No, it was ITV2.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then like across the pond, there's a load of like Viners who like went on to, I think some more successfully than others, like moved their following onto YouTube. So when
like Logan Paul and all those,
they
were just massive.
Do you know what's weird is I've almost sort of forgotten that they were even on Vine.
Yeah, that's where they all started, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think the biggest one was King Buck, or was it? He was always the one who was most followed.
Yeah.
He's in a few movies I've seen him in recently.
Really?
Well, I've seen trailer. I wouldn't watch the movies, but I've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
The movies look shit, but he's in the movies. Yeah.
And I remember there was like Jessie Smiles and the Gabby Show. They were quite big.
Yeah, I remember the Gabby Show. Yeah.
And she moved on to YouTube. And then like this sort of weird period of like cross celebrity happened where they were YouTubers but also pop stars. And
what's this? What are you talking about?
Like that Gabby Show bird is like, so she moved to YouTube and built up a following, but then also started releasing like pop singles.
Music?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think, didn't like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, didn't they do something like that?
They did, Jake Paul did, yeah. It was awful.
Was it? That shocks me.
It was like a rap song. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was awful.
Oh, well, I mean, my expectations were high.
You should get the album.
Yeah. Do you listen to much rap these days?
I do listen to a lot of rap.
Still. Who's on your playlist at the moment?
Were you upset about MF Doom time?
I'd only recently heard my first MF Doom track,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, I'm probably letting the side down in terms of being anything close to a hip hop head. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, why were you? Was that?
He was, yeah, one of my faves. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was a shame.
Why
That's
is it?
blue. Wow.
It's always the good. I think Chris Rock does a bit where he's like, "It's only the good rappers that are dead." It's always the good ones that die.
A lot of bad ones, though. Let's be fair.
Do they?
Yeah, yeah. So it evens out.
Who's shit that died? Let's really soil on some memories
Oh
here.
God, shit has died. God.
Who's somebody that's died? Who's actually? Let's broaden it out from just rappers to celebrities. Who's the last celebrity that died where your reaction was like this? I mean, all right, fine.
Oh,
I'm okay with that.
um, Phil Spector.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one. Did he die of
Yeah.
COVID or was it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But you know, he was. He had it coming.
Yeah, he seemed like that. There was a big thing in the news, wasn't there, about how I think the BBC reported it as though, like they said, musical genius and troubled something or other, Phil Spector, and everyone was like, "No, he's not. He's not troubled. He's a convicted fucking murderer."
Well, I don't know much about the case, you know, about Phil Spector. I haven't even really. I don't know that much about it. I haven't read into it.
Yeah, like the little bits that I do know are that he, and this is sort of third hand information. Sorry, that I've read, but it suggested, or I'm led to believe, that he always had a fascination with guns, and everyone had always said, you know, watch out for this guy. He keeps loaded guns in the studio, etc., etc. And that ex-girlfriends of his had previously like filed complaints and like made friends know that he would rough them up and hold a gun to their head and threaten them and all that. And anyway, then this one night he decided to take it a bit far and yeah, literally, like I think he picked up this sort of cocktail waitress woman and took her back to his mansion or whatever and literally shot her.
Oh wow!
And I think he said that. Did he? I think he said it was a suicide. Like he tried to claim that it was a suicide to begin with, which is fucking batshit. I love the balls on it though. I love like to be that fucking nuts to like blow a hole in someone's head and to know like you must know that the residue is going to like blow back on you and like people are going to come in and take swabs and test it all like and they're going to go like, look, Phil, mate, this is what we do for a living. Look, there's no way that this bitch shot her own head and that the residue is here. Like, if you say that you were over there, why is there residue all down your suit?
Actually did that. Okay, you never know.
Mate, like, he'd have to be the most unlucky guy to pick up a cocktail waitress who is suicidal and decides that on her last night before she kills herself. I mean, to be fair, maybe she just sucked him off. If she just sucked off Phil Spector, maybe she did kill herself. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Yeah.
They need to re-look into that case.
Just saying. Yeah, I've heard one side of it. Maybe there's another side.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So rap-wise, do you think? Because this is another thing that you and I have in common, as well as being, social media heartthrobs.
Yeah, of course.
Is that we're both lovers of hip hop, but we've also both like dabbled in hip hop a little bit, haven't we? So
we have. Yeah, we both.
Just we've dipped our toes in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever like record demos and stuff back in the day?
I did, and they're shit.
How do you feel about them now? Is what I was going to ask.
I fucking hate them now. I know there's two or three people who have copies of this CD I made.
Yeah.
When I was probably about 17, and I made I had a Roland keyboard and a little multi-track.
Yeah.
I recorded this. It's so awful. And they've still got it hanging over my head.
And they'll never let go of it. Yeah, you'll have to.
Never let go of it. I need to find them. I need to break into their houses.
You'll have to Phil Spector them.
Fucking CDs and get rid of them.
Yeah, you'll have to pick them up, cocktail waitress or whatever, and gun to the face.
It's the thing I'm scared of. Like, say, if I ever did get famous from this thing,
Yeah.
Imagine this CD coming up and just destroyed me. It's the worst thing ever. But
Yeah. I mean, I have no such defense in terms of like, oh, you know, I was only 17 and like I was 25, I think.
But I heard that and that was good.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favourite hobbies this day, one of my favourite holiday, I can't fucking talk tonight, mate. One of my favourite hobbies these days, fuck me, is like ruminating, just like thinking of stuff I used to say or used to do when I was like 20 or 25 and just cringing so hard I shattered my fucking molars, like, and like the hip hop albums is kind of in that bracket. It's like I wasn't 17, I was 20, I was old enough to know better, and there I was.
Like, I heard one song and that sounded good to me. You put it on the group chat, yeah.
Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Like a friend of mine found, this is why it's fresh in my head. It's like a friend of mine found an old CD.
Is this when you had the dreadlocks?
No, it was a little bit after that. Dreadlocks was my
post dreadlocks.
Yeah, dreadlocks was very much my rocky singer-songwriter phase, but the hip hop stuff was shorter hair. And one of my friends found the old CD and then like took a picture of it and put it on the group chat today, and then like recorded himself like dancing along to it. My other mate was like, "I'm impressed you found a CD player. Like, where the fuck did it?" He's like, "DVD player takes CDs." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
I've got a CD player still.
Oh, really? Retro?
I've still got a lot of CDs. I'm debating selling them because a lot of these old hip hop albums. Because a lot of the record labels are defunct and they're not, obviously the albums aren't being released anymore. They're quite worth a bit. Some of them, some of them are actually worth a bit. So I might, but then I've got a bit of a nostalgic grip with them. I don't want to get rid of them. But
I felt like for a little bit, I wanted to make a like a sort of a self-made jukebox with CDs in it. I thought that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But I don't know how you like, you know, the proper jukeboxes where they sort of curve round at the top. I don't really know how to curve wood.
Are they wooden? The jukeboxes, or are they plastic?
They might be. Well, I don't know how to curve plastic either, but I mean, I don't know how to make a jukebox, so I don't know why any of this is.
Plastic is just heat. It's a lot of heat.
What, like a cigarette lighter underneath?
Yeah. That's it. Like with plastic.
I got a log burner. I just
exactly, yeah. You just heat it and then get the shape.
Yeah.
Of the plastic.
Okay.
And
I like what we're saying.
Jukebox done.
Yeah, I'd like to.
That's your next project.
Yeah, I'd blatantly I'd make it. I'd finish doing it. I'd be like, "Do you like it?" Like to Lucy, and she'd be like, "I think it would go really well in the cabin." Like this is the dumping ground for. I'm in the cabin, yeah.
Oh, this is the cabin.
This is my man cave sort of thing. But anything that is like that she doesn't like the look of, it's kind of
like the baby doll.
Like the baby doll. Yeah, I don't think anyone.
And the baby.
Does anyone like the look of the baby doll?
I like the look of the baby doll.
Yeah.
I like the jacket.
Wow.
Oh my word.
Sorry about that. Yeah, was it you that was telling me that like CDs have gone up in value by like 10? No, wait, hold on. It must be 10 times or something.
Only certain ones.
Yeah, because whoever it was that told me that I was like, I might just have a quick look, and I looked on Amazon for a double CD of 2-pack All Eyes on Me, and it was fucking £100. I was like,
Amazon's funny though. Amazon, yes, but you have to look on eBay to get the true price. Amazon are crazy, the CD prices on there.
Oh, really?
So I've got a Cool G Rap and DJ Polo CD, which is a limited edition double one. That's £450 on Amazon. But there's no way it's worth it.
Diagonally.
There's no way it's worth it. But on eBay, you can't find it. So I don't know.
Maybe they are like worth investing in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's this
whole vinyls are obviously.
Yeah, I feel like
worth money.
With vinyl though, it's like I don't own a record player. But I am exactly the sort of person that would own a record player. And I get it. Like, I understand the sort of tangible romance.
100%.
Yeah, like just sort of, pulling it out the sleeve, putting it on, putting the needle on, and there's a sort of there's an aural kickback or like sort of reward mechanism that kicks in when you put a vinyl on and then listen to it, and you can hear the little bits of crackling before it starts, and there's something in that real like music lovers really enjoy and love. But with CDs, although there's a nostalgia factor, because it's like, I remember when I used to have 2-pack double CD, back in the day. It's not the same. It doesn't have that for me. So I'd be interested in buying some CDs for like the financial reward if they are.
It does a bit for me. It still has a little nostalgic
really
thing for me. So it used to be my my first wage back. It would go onto the CDs. I remember running to record shops because the CD that I wanted was being released. So I'd run lunchtime.
Yeah.
My lunch break at work, run to the HMV.
Yeah.
Get the CD, and I remember taking it home, putting the CD on, going to the toilet.
Yeah.
Having a sit, reading the booklet.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing for me. But
actually, that's a good point. Like the linear notes, having the booklet and like reading the lyrics of it, that is something that's missing.
That was awesome. Yeah, I used to love that.
And the other thing that's changed is like an album. Like you say, you used to like run down to HMV. Like for us in Maidenhead, there was a Virgin in Maidenhead called Aid. All right, thanks.
A Virgin.
Yeah, and terrible. Don't laugh. Don't pity laugh. Yeah, there was a Virgin Records, and then there was this place called MVC, which was like Music Video Club, which I think they were trying to add like some prestige to it, but like anyone could join, so I don't really know what the point was. But like you would go in there, and it was it's like a product. It's like it's trying to think of the word, like, but with like now you stream stuff, and it's like if I don't know Taylor Swift or Eminem or like whoever releases an album. It's like it is an album in the sort of 12-song set version, but it's not the fucking same as like when we were like 19 and you run down there, you buy the album, you're holding the album, it's tangible, you flick through the notes, and it's like there was a concept to it. Maybe it was like I don't know. There's that.
That's the annoying thing about the whole download streaming thing is that albums don't really matter anymore, because if you put a CD on or you put a vinyl on, you have to listen to the whole album. You can't you have to change the CD if you want to listen to something else. But with streaming, you can just flick, you can put it on shuffle, flick it through. You just pick a couple of songs.
Yeah.
But to me, like albums matter to me more than singles.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a true artist if you can create a cohesive full album over 10, 12 tracks. Then you can just release one single that's good and the rest is all shit. What matters to me is the albums,
And do you know what's like weird? If you like pan back a little bit and you look at, so just before everyone was streaming and everyone was just like downloading albums instead, or like, still buying a few of them. But certainly in hip hop, things moved away from the product being a concept album, like where everything had a similar sort of feel, like a Mobb Deep album.
I love a concept album.
Yeah, like if you listen to a Mobb Deep album, every song has a similar or a Wu-Tang album, every song has a similar like sound and vibe and texture to it. And then I think a lot of rappers and groups started just going, right, okay, well, track 1's produced by the Neptunes, track 2 is produced by Timbaland, track 3 is produced, and it's like fucking 18 songs that sound like completely different artists, and there's no concept behind it. So now streaming is the next level along from that. It's like we've lost something.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. There's not as much heart goes into the album anymore. I don't think, but I think a lot of artists. But I judge artists quite a lot by how good their albums are, not by their singles.
Yeah. Are you more of like an album track kind of guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not always.
Oh, really?
Not always. Sometimes the singles are the best tracks on the album, but I do like to listen to the full album to really judge the artist.
Yeah.
for how good they are. Yeah.
I find like if I cast my mind back to like Nevermind, right? Massive album.
Amazing album.
Loads of people own it. Loads of people know every single track on it.
Yeah.
But do you ever, if you put that album on, do you listen to Teen Spirit or do you skip past it?
Skip past it.
Same, yeah.
Time. Yeah, skip past it every time.
And it's the same on In Utero as well. Like that, In Utero is the first album I think I bought. And it's
what's the track on there that you skip?
Heart Shaped Box.
Heart Shape.
Yeah, even though I love it, like if it comes on the radio, I'm like, yeah, let's turn this up. But for some reason, when I'm in the mode of like album, I'm far more interested to listen to like Dumb or Very Ape. You know, something that's a bit less. I don't know. It feels too polished.
I love All Apologies as well.
Yeah.
You get there's like two kinds of people. I think the people who don't like to be bombarded by one song.
Yeah.
Like us, we've had enough of the song. That's all right. We'll try and find something new.
Yeah.
Or you get people that like to listen to a song over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like my housemate who listens to Michael Jackson constantly.
Fuck.
On repeat.
Still?
Forever.
Really?
Still. Even with the kiddie fiddling.
Yeah,
he's still into it. I mean, he had a whole mix going on the other night because he had R. Kelly on.
Wow.
Then he had Jacko. He had the whole paedophile mix going on.
And then rounded it off with some Phil fucking Spector.
No, he didn't have any of that. No, he's into his R&B. But you get certain people who are just into that, just like to have the same song repeat, and they're only into that song.
Yeah.
But then you get people like us who like to discover.
I just like
new music.
Yeah, I like the unpolished, not oversaturated feel of something like that. Like and it actually goes back, like it stretches out to artists as well. I don't know if you're like this, but if you give me 2 CDs, let's say we're living in 2003 or whatever, you gave me 2 CDs and one of them is by a band that you tell me is at number 2 in the American charts and they're and here's their lead single or whatever, and then the other CD that you give me is like an unsigned punk rock band and it sounds like grotty and like unpolished and unsigned. Like it, I would be way more interested in the unsigned one, even though I know the quality of like the songwriting and the production and everything for the first one is going to be better. And I don't know, like I think I would grow out of it, but it's never left. Like
I'm with you.
I just like
100%.
The sort of I think it's like the potential of it, like the prospect. It's like this person could be like amazing, and I might just be getting on the ground level, and I could sit,
That's the first time I listened to Eminem. And I heard that on Tim Westwood, and I could not believe he was white.
Really?
Totally shocked that he was white. I heard it for the first time, and I was in the time where you would record the radio on the tape. On the cassette. Yeah. So I recorded, and then Eminem came on for the first time. Well, he said he was playing it for the first time, and I thought it was unreal. It was unlike anything I'd ever heard. And then then he turned out to be white.
Yeah.
He was huge.
Yeah. Have you found anyone else that actually? Wait, hold that thought. Let me just get beer. Hold on.
Go on.
I lied. I got 2 beers.
2 beers. So you don't have to get up again.
Yeah.
It's good. That's good thinking.
Optimal. Has there been any other artists that you've had that with? Because I've had that with a couple now, where you get in on the ground.
Where they got really big.
Yeah, like you discover them, but like
there is. I feel like there is, but I can't think what they are at the minute. But yeah,
I'm sure there is. Like with music, I went to Reading Festival. It must have been in 2007, and my girlfriend at the time was working as like a sort of steward type thing
Yeah.
And they would let her sort of, work for a bit, but then she'd get like the night off, and then like we'd go out and get wrecked or whatever. But in like some of the time that she was working, I just basically had to go and like wander around by myself and drink cider and listen to new bands and stuff. So anyway, I went into the main arena at like 12. First act on was this little band with a bird with pink hair jumping around, and they were like, "Oh, this is Paramore."
Yeah.
And
Paramore. All right.
I was like, I really fucking dig this girl's voice. She's got an incredible voice.
She released a solo album recently. Really good.
Really, I've not checked it out actually.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's impressive. Yeah.
I'll stream it. I'll stream one or two songs and then not listen to it.
I can't remember her name, but it was a good album.
Hayley Williams.
Hayley, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
So yeah, like I thought, oh, these guys are great. And like I remember their songs were super catchy, and then I looked them up afterwards, and then they went on to like, be basically, I think at one point they were like the biggest band in America. But and then like with comedy, I had it with Louis C.K. Like I looked at the end of an episode of Everybody Hates Chris, and it was like written by Chris Rock and Louis C.K. And I was like, I'm gonna, because I wanted to find like unsigned stuff, to look up people's stand up, and I found this guy, and I looked at his stand up, and I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
What sort of era was that?
He had done Shameless, which I think is his first special. And he had done an HBO like half hour thing, or Comedy Central half hour.
So this is pretty chewed up.
I think it was literally just before Chewed Up.
Okay, yeah. So that's Chewed Up's kind of the one that sort of.
Yeah, and then he brought out Hilarious, and that sent him out into
Hilarious as well. Yeah.
Into the stratosphere, and then by the time he did like Oh My God, then he was the biggest comedian in the world. Sort of. Probably not as big as Jerry Seinfeld, but but yeah, like so there's been a couple of times where I'm like, but here's the irony is like you sort of you're drawn to the potential, and like this person or this band or whatever might be massive, but then when they actually do get massive, it sort of like irks me a bit. I'm like,
Well, I had that with Zach Galifianakis.
Oh really?
So I watched I came across his stand up on YouTube. It was literally just in a club or something. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought, who is this guy? He's hilarious. And then the next thing I knew, he was in The Hangover, and then all of a sudden, he got huge. But I think I was watching like a top 10. Some random guy on YouTube put like a top 10 comedians. And Zach Galifianakis, I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
And then looked him up. And then all of a sudden he became huge.
Yeah,
and I get that with TV shows as well. So obviously, Breaking Bad I watched from season 1. That became huge by season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's been any TV shows that I've got into. Like for a long time, I just didn't really watch any TV, which sounds pretentious as fuck. But I just didn't really. I don't really know why. I think I was just like out gigging, or I don't know. Speaking of gigging, did you do? I feel like you asked me once about doing some open mic gigs and stuff. Did you ever do anything? Or
no, before the videos, I did. I had this brief moment where I thought, I could do stand up, and then I wrote 5 minutes. I thought, oh yeah, brilliant, this is really good, and I instantly looked for open mics in Norwich.
Yeah.
And one was at the Rose Tavern, which was up the road from me. And I thought, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
This is it. And I went in there, and then I said, okay, you got 20 minutes. I went, what? I wrote like 5 minutes.
Fuck.
And they said, no, you have to do 20. What? And then I got up there, and I just bombed hard.
For 20 minutes.
Luckily, everyone in the pub was friendly. So they were just like sort of clapping me along, even though I was just up there. It's the worst.
20 minutes.
I remember the thing I remember is not being embarrassed.
Yeah.
Which is strange. Because I get embarrassed in everyday situations. But I remember being on stage and thinking, I don't really care. But then I didn't carry it. I did only another 2 5-minute open mic slots. And one was at Lions then.
That's great.
And one was at the Laughing Horse, that competition.
Yeah.
The 5-minute thing. And then I remember at the end, they called Matthew James as the person going through.
Oh, right.
And it turned out there were two Matthew Jameses who
Oh, really?
the 5 minute slot, yeah. So this other Matthew James. So I got up. I said, no, the other Matthew James. Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That's even worse than just not getting through.
Yeah, well, just the stand-up wasn't good. My problem was that every time I wrote 5 minutes worth of comedy, it would always... I wouldn't stick to one material and try and perfect that. I would try and do something completely different every time.
Yeah.
I was trying to find my voice and I never really found it. And I was just...
Yeah, it's... I mean, I think you had a unlucky first start in terms of getting a 20 spot straight away. Is there many Is there many open mic comedy nights in Norwich, or is it?
It wasn't an open mic comedy. It was just an open mic night.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So it was like everyone going up there,
because that's like I know, like if I move back to Maidenhead or even like around here, if I wanted to find an open mic night, it would guaranteed be like some sad art student with a guitar singing a song. And then there would be a magician would come on, and then
it's similar to that.
Yeah,
the night in Norwich. Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Whereas I think you will know this now that you've done Lion's Den, that in London there's it's actually quite a healthy open mic community, and you just
the thing that I loved is that it's guaranteed there's going to be someone a lot shitter than you, which I realised at Lion's Den. I remember a guy getting on stage and shaking.
Yeah,
he didn't have Parkinson's or anything. He was shaking because he was so scared. I was like, "Why the hell are you doing this?" What? But yeah. I just remember Lion's Den was the only one that went well. To be fair,
that
was the only one that went well, and I never stuck to that routine, which was a mistake.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Lion's Den was such a friendly room as well. Like it was run by a guy who's now passed away, unfortunately, but he ran a really nice room, and I did my second gig there actually. My first gig was a guy was shitter than me, but he just I don't know if I've ever told you about this, but he gets up on stage, and he just starts talking about like there's no jokes there, but he just starts talking about like anal sex and like looking at but like there was like three of us in the audience, and he was just talking about
no context there.
Just like, and then he pulled out this holdall, like this bag, and just started pulling out like sex toys and stuff. Like, but he was about 57 in a white string vest, like sort of Rabsy Nesbitt looking guy, jokeless, just talking about how he's gonna like pointing at one person in the 3-person audience, how he's gonna fuck. Like it sounded like a genuine like threat. And then they were like, next up is Aid. And like, I got up and I was trying to be like Chris Rock and failed rightly. And
you weren't doing N-word jokes, were you?
No, I was not. I was doing something, I think, about Britney Spears because she was having a meltdown at that point. And then it scared me the fuck off. And then about 6 months or maybe even a year later, I tried it at Lion's Den, and it was so much nicer, so friendly. But I was that guy, like, I mean, probably not that actual guy, but I was the guy who was up there, like, shaking. I was so fucking nervous.
Really?
Like, I had my hands in my back pockets because I was... And
how old are you? How old are you then?
I must have been about 29, 28, 29.
Yeah. I think we're probably similar age. I probably was a bit younger.
Yeah.
I think I was a bit younger.
But yeah, it was really nice.
I didn't know it was that late that you started. I didn't know it was that late.
Yeah, I wish I'd done it a lot earlier. Like, I used to talk to guys who would also be doing it in their, sort of late 20s, 30s. And we would always say, like, all these young cunts doing it, like, they're all like 20, 21, and they've got time to get good and, get signed to, like, Avalon or whatever. Whereas, we were sort of, 29, or in some cases, like, 35, 40, and, you've got like actual life problems to worry about then. Like if I went back now and I was like gigging 4 nights a week, I actually think Lucy would probably leave me. I'd be like, yeah, just going out to do 3 gigs tonight. She'd be like, really? I'm just going out to fuck someone else. See ya.
What, now? I think she'd be all right now, wouldn't she?
I don't think so. Nah.
No?
Well, we've got a baby.
Well, not with the baby. Not with the baby, no.
Yeah, we've got a baby, and like...
I don't believe there is a baby. I think you're just making it up.
I suppose I could show... I was about to say show it to you. show her to you.
Show it.
This is anyone that's listening on the audio version will not see this, but here's a baby.
Oh, that is a baby
in the studio. Definitely not that baby. Different to that baby.
Cute.
Yeah, passed out.
I like the onesie or whatever she's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks pretty cute. I think she takes after her mum.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Apart from the ears, God help her.
Oh, she got the ears.
She's got my ears. Yeah.
Oh, her life is fucked.
I know.
Oh, it's a life of misery. That is. It's
like it gets me in that weird place where I'm like, do we pay a surgeon to fix her ears, or do we embrace the fact that she's a bit different and she'll probably end up with really great music taste as a result of it?
Exactly. Well, can you hear better with your ears? Is that a thing?
Not anymore. No, I've got pretty bad tinnitus now. I don't know if you're a music lover. You've probably been to a fair few gigs. Have you got like hearing damage?
Not as many. No, I haven't been to that many. I've been to a few, yeah, but not as many as I should have. Being a lover of music, I've not been to as many as I should have.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get vaccinated, or when all of this is over?
Nothing, probably. I probably won't do anything. when all this is over, I have no idea.
Really?
I've not thought about it. No, holiday. I need a holiday.
That's like the number one thought, like in everyone's mind, is like.
I've not thought about it. I've kind of liked it. I've kind of enjoyed it. Like, as bad as it sounds,
mate,
I've kind of enjoyed it all.
Fuck your like 17-year-old hip hop album. This is going to be the quote that's going to come back to bite you. Like,
COVID, I've kind of enjoyed it all.
They'll be like, no. Yeah, you know Matt James, who's in like those Judd Apatow movies. Yeah, well, actually, he said that the pandemic that murdered like 1 million people, he was like, actually kind of fun. I saw an upside.
That's not come out right. It's not come out in the right context. But I mean,
yeah,
the lockdown and everything for me has been pretty good, and it's been productive for me. Well, productive-ish.
Yeah, I think it's been
nice to have the time.
There's been some good stuff to it for sure. So I think a lot of people have seen their kids a lot more, which has been great.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had enough of it now. It's getting on my tits now, but
yeah, I just really want my parents to survive, so that they can look after my children while I go out and get really fucked afterwards.
Well, that is the main.
It's like, Mum,
that is the dream.
Mum, you better not fucking die.
Yeah, Mum, don't die.
I'm going to need you in about August, September.
You bought her like a big outbreak suit.
Yeah.
She's like walking around like Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
I'm gonna send my stepdad the slippers that he asked for Christmas, and then send my mum a hazmat suit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You got to be careful.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want a childless night or weekend of very boozy mischief. I just like it's been, or it feels like it's been so long since I've just stood at a bar talking utter nonsense to friends.
This is, now you're saying it, it's making me miss it. Yeah.
I mean, having a podcast helps, because this is sort of a bar with, talking very little substance, speaking very little substance.
Yeah. But I mean, we did have that gap where we were sort of allowed, restrictions were sort of eased-ish. And I did go to a few pubs when that happened.
Yeah.
So it's not been that long since I've been to a pub, but...
Yeah, I had a sort of like a PG-rated pub experience when, like on a Saturday afternoon, Lucy would need to do something or other, or she'd be pregnant and moody, and then I would take Jacob out, get out of her hair for a bit. We'd go walking around the park, and then I'd be like, oh, let's just go to the pub. And then I'd sit him in the back of the pub with his like Amazon Fire tablet thing, and I could just sit there with a Guinness. And it sounds so stupid. I can't really explain why it's a thing, but it's just like, I could sit at home with a Guinness, but there's just something about being in a pub with horrible 80s cock rock music playing, and like some guy on the fruity, and some barmaid that doesn't want to be there.
There's an aesthetic, or I forgot what it's called. But yeah,
Do you think?
There is
Do you think?
a certain charm to it.
Do you think other countries understand that? Do you think they feel like it's weird?
Maybe not. Maybe not. The pub seems to be more of an English thing, but I'm always quite intrigued by American bars. They always look so amazing. I always wanted to, like in films.
Yeah.
You see the American. I just always wanted to be in one of those bars, but I'm sure that as soon as you're in them,
Yeah.
it's not quite as
Do you mean like,
as good as you'd expect.
as you're saying this? Do you mean like a sort of cocktail bar kind of thing, or do you mean like
No, like in every movie that you get, like these old like these sort of Texas bars. Someone's sitting at the bar, and you always like sit at the bar, and then someone's like bringing you always neat as well.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who drinks neat.
No.
Is that a thing in America? I don't know anyone who drinks neat.
No.
That's mad.
Do you know what's weird about that? It's like sort of paradoxical as well, because it's like I know friends who have like they did exchange student stuff in America, and them being Brits, when they were over in America, they would have like 3 or 4 beers after all their lectures finished for the day, and they're students, remember, so it's not a big deal. They wrap up the day, they have a few beers, and then like the American students would be like, do you have a problem? Do you have a drinking problem? Or like they would offer them support, and like it was a that much of a surprising thing, supposedly, that they were having more than like a beer. And yet on the flip side of it, it's like, yeah, whenever you watch like, I mean, I was about to say Ally McBeal, but not that I watch Ally McBeal, but
I've never watched Ally McBeal.
But like, those sort of legal dramas, they wrap up a busy day in the courtroom, and then they all go to the same bar, and they're like,
why they always go to the bar?
Yeah, and then they're like, Scotch, neat, just the ice.
Always neat.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and they always loads, but then you get all the spring break things. So they're obviously drinkers.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just like those people that my friend went away and did an exchange thing with were kind of pussies. That's probably a way more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Likely answer.
It depends who you meet. You can't put all your Americans in one basket.
You really can't. No, they don't like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this GameStop stuff. So I don't know how much you know about this, and it may not be your wheelhouse, but it is all over the news at the moment. So I thought
you might need to explain to me exactly what's.
So I'm not really like a hedge fund guy. I know a guy who does work in a hedge fund, and I've read a couple of articles about it over the last couple of days. But from my layman understanding of it, it sounds as though like when hedge funds short sell against a business, like what they do is they borrow 100, like let's say you've got shares in Greg's, right? And I say I'd like to borrow those shares, and they're worth $100, right? So I borrow your Greg's shares and I sell them. I immediately sell them on the market for $100. And then I'm speculating that Greg's is going to go through a rough time, and the value of the shares will go down. And then what I do is I wait for it to go down, and then I buy the shares back off the market at $30, and then I give you your shares back. So you've still got your shares, but I have made like $70. Yeah. So that's how the short selling of it works. And then there's this shop called GameStop, where a load of hedge funds, or 2 or 3 hedge funds, did this to them. They were like, we don't like their business model, or we see problems coming down the line for them, so we're going to take out a short against them. We're going to borrow some shares, sell them, and then hope that they go down, and then blah blah blah. And a load of investors, like amateur investors on Reddit, found out about it, or saw the trades being closed or whatever. And I'm just guessing here that on Reddit that these guys are gamers, and that maybe they have some sort of romantic affiliation with an independent game shop, and so they decided to give the hedge funds a kick in the balls and all get together and start buying shares in GameStop, which then made them scarcer, which then supply and demand made them more valuable. And so as the share price began to creep up, all of these hedge funds started to really panic, because they're like, fuck. Like, the shares were like $3 or something, like minute. and now they've gone up like 800% or 1,000% or something. So all of these hedge funds have got really troubling positions against this one independent game company. And I think I'm right in saying that one of those hedge funds has already gone bankrupt in the last couple of days, like billions of dollars of debt. And what they've had to do is they've had to sell their positions in other short scenarios to cover this one. And so loads of people are saying like, yeah, good. Like we've kicked the hedge funds in the balls, death to Wall Street, all of that stuff. But then what happened, this is where it gets a bit fishy, is all of the amateur investors bought the shares using something called Robinhood, which is a platform in America, which you buy these shares on. It's for like everyday, you know, working class, middle class Americans to buy shares and get involved in the stock market. And Robinhood froze the ability to buy more shares, which then affected the share price. So it started to tumble down a bit, which made things a lot easier for the hedge funds because now these shares were not as sky high as they were before. Now they've come back down to a sort of manageable loss kind of level. So everyone's losing their fucking minds going like, hang on a second, like, you know, we got together, we decided that we were going to buy all these shares. This is perfectly legal. Yeah. We did it through the Robinhood app. If you want to buy the shares off us, I'm sorry, no, we're not selling because we just want the shares in the company. And meanwhile, this Robinhood app are saying like, yeah, well, we're gonna freeze buying, but like I think they said because there's too much market volatility, that's why they were freezing it. But there wasn't really any market volatility. It was just people wanting to buy a lot of shares quickly to kind of keep making the price go up and make things worse for the hedge funds. So people are losing their mind because it would appear as though the hedge funds are basically putting pressure on the little guy. They're saying like, look, you can make like some of these people who have bought shares in GameStop bought like $50,000 worth of shares and it's gone up to like $8 million. Like it's such a high return. It's if you look at the graphs of it, it's like the value of a share it just goes like throughout, you know, 2018, 2019, 2020, then 2000.
Imagine if you bought this without knowing all this news.
Yeah, right. Like
if you bought the share without knowing the whole.
You would just
what's going on.
Like, I like this little independent. You know, I like to give back to independent businesses. Oh, you know, $100. Here you go, like that.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah. So, but now, yeah, obviously, what they're saying is, you know, when the value of these shares shoots up and normal people are going to make a killing or, you know, make a statement, whatever it is that they're trying to do, then even then you can't fucking make money. It's not for you. It's for the hedge funds. It's for Wall Street to make the money. You're just some little guy. So sorry, even when you win, too bad you didn't win. Like that's why it's so contentious.
Sure.
And I wonder where it's going to go. I'm a bit like, you know, if you destroy the credibility of normal people to be able to make money out of capitalism broadly, like what does that do?
I know. That's just crazy.
It's like, why would you ever trade again? Why would a normal working class person ever buy shares in anything or invest in like?
I don't know much about this because I haven't really read up on it much, but I just saw a story about Jordan Belfort. He came out saying there's definitely something illegal going on or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Do you know about that? Is there something illegal going on? No?
I think the users of Robinhood are like they've launched some sort of class action suit against Robinhood because like what possible reason could you have for saying that you're freezing trades based on market volatility when there isn't really any? So probably what will come out is either a lot of paper shredding and like empty recycle bins, or there'll be some sort of like snooping around and it will come out that there was pressure from, it may even go up to the White House. I don't really know. I'd be so vexed though. Like if I put, let's say $100,000, not that I have that sort of money, but if I did, like if I was involved in this like Reddit group, Wall Street Bets they were called, if I was involved in that and, you know, I built up a relationship with a few other traders and I had some confidence that what we were all saying together was reliable, I might put down, you know, £1,000 or £2,000 or something, if I was feeling very flush that month.
Yeah.
And then if this sort of fuckery came out of it and I lost what I perceived to be, you know, 20 grand, 30 grand, that's like house deposit money. And it's, you know,
that's great.
Yeah, like I'd be like, well, hang on a second, I'm trading just like you're trading. So how come when I'm winning, then suddenly it's like,
I wouldn't understand why you couldn't have that money. Yeah, that would destroy me. That would.
Yeah. Oh well, never mind. Not my problem really. I didn't invest.
Do you invest?
I put some more money into Bitcoin the tail end of last year, and then
how's that doing?
It was doing all right. It was sort of growing bit by bit, and then because of like if you're on salary, like PAYE, you get paid, you know, December the 18th or something, right, just before Christmas. So it's like December the 18th through to January the 29th or whatever, you know. I was getting so desperate. I was like, I don't know if I can feed my kids. So I just withdrew it and bought a food shop. And now I've actually been paid.
How much did you have in there?
Not much. Like I had just started doing it again in about like August, September last year. And just like a little 25 quid every Monday, just to keep topping it up. So it was only like in the lower hundreds, but it had grown. And I looked at the growth figures for the last couple of years, and it's, you know, it's going up. It's outperforming like actual stocks and shares. So I'm a bit like, I should get involved in it again, because it seems like a no-brainer. Like the only reason that you would not invest in Bitcoin,
I feel like it's too late now for me. I feel like it's too. Is it not?
No, because the way that Bitcoin works is like the algorithm. Like to mine a Bitcoin just gets harder and harder and harder, and that's why all the memes that you see of people mining Bitcoins are like rooms full of hard drives all working together to try and mine a Bitcoin. And so every time someone successfully mines a Bitcoin, the algorithm gets harder. And so there's and the other thing is there's only so many Bitcoins that can ever be mined. So if it gets harder and there's a set limited number that there can only ever be, then you have a supply and demand issue. Because if I own a Bitcoin and there's only ever going to be, you know, 50,000 of them or whatever, my Bitcoin is going to go up in value again and again and again, as long as more people are buying into the system, which, given that the trend over the last like 6-7 years has been that it keeps going up, then it's like, well, obviously people are interested in crypto, and the facilities are there now to sort of, I mean, not so much in the UK, but you can buy, there's places in London you can buy a coffee with a Bitcoin when we're not all dying of COVID. But so
I've never.
I think it'll, you know, the only question mark for me is what happens if I build up £10,000 worth of Bitcoin, because that's the other thing. You don't own a Bitcoin, you own a fraction or a percentage of a Bitcoin. So you can buy like £1 worth of Bitcoin. So if I build up £10,000 worth of Bitcoin and I'm like, this is going pretty well, might leave this to grow, and it grows to 15, grows to 20, and I start thinking this is going to do pretty well for Jacob's house deposit. You know, I'm getting a bit cocky, or like maybe I'll buy a boat or something like that. Or maybe I get made redundant and I desperately need thousands of pounds quickly. If I go to my phone and then I try to transfer that, and then it says government sanctioned, like banned cryptocurrency, or whatever, like I'm not too worried about having to pay tax on the return. That's fine. But if they ban it and I lose all my money, I might want to kill myself, because it's like is that
a possibility? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few stories about it in the papers. Yeah, there was a guy, I think he was a Bank of England guy, and he was saying everyone that invests in Bitcoin should expect to lose their money at some point, and it, like, whether that's through regulation or like a zeroing of the value of it, because a lot of people see it as a big pyramid scheme. It's like you invest £100 in it, and then, you know, the value goes up for me, and then I'll cash out, and then anyway you're stuck in it now, and then you have to get 3 more people to invest it. So I guess there's that. But I would be more worried personally about the regulatory aspect. But then, do you know what's weird? It's like I know a guy, I interviewed him for the 2nd or 3rd episode, and he's a hedge fund guy, and he's
I watched that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he was saying that if it's not Bitcoin, it will be something else, and if they outlaw it here, people will just move their Bitcoin to like a Swiss bank account or like a Panama bank account. The way like it's too big, it's like the genie's out the bottle, and people want crypto.
Yeah.
So even if you can't use it here, you can transfer it to your mate who's in Florida, and then he can do it. Or so I feel like it probably will be all right. And if it's growing in value, then fuck it.
Yeah. So you're going to reinvest?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to leave it growing. Yeah, I think this year might be all right to do it. Because last year was still quite like financially quite hard last year, but this year I'm hoping things might be a little bit more comfortable. How about you? Are you going to download Coinbase now? Get on it.
I might do. Yeah. I did.
Next time I interview, like if you come back on episode 20 or something, you're going to be sat here with a pinstripe suit and a bow tie, just like, well, let me tell you about my portfolio.
Just but homeless. Just the pinstripe, a suit, and a bow tie, but in the streets, sucking dick.
Yeah.
Sucking dick from home.
Thanks a lot for the financial advice, you prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've perused over Forex and invest in, because I wanted to invest in Disney. I didn't have enough money to do it because I knew they were putting their streamings out. I knew that would go up.
Oh, right.
So I thought, I'm going to get some money. I'll put a load of money into it.
Yeah.
But I never had enough money to put into it to even bother.
I think it's like, I think more people are getting involved in it now. I'm more interested in investment now than I ever was before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never understood it until...
Yeah.
And I still don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
But...
I'm definitely a novice. Like Lucy's the one that's really into investment stuff, but you'll know as I do that when you're in a relationship with someone and you're talking about, your thing, and then they talk about their thing, you just sort of like proxy absorb the information. Like, I don't know, like what does your missus do?
She she works at housing. I think I can't remember what they're called. I'm going to get in trouble for this.
You don't need to give me like the exact name. But, like, she works in like a sort of housing association.
It's like a housing association.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's on call, and you get people phone up where they got problems with their houses or they got problems with. Yeah, I forgot the fucking name. I got the name of the thing. Yeah. But,
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't need to know the name. But I mean, unless you want to promote a brand or something.
Yeah, so she's it's sort of a. Well, she lost her job when lockdown happened first time round.
Right.
The jobs she had at the time, and then she got this new. It's sort of a call center, but it's what she said she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But she ended up doing it, and I think she quite enjoys it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you I'm guessing that you sort of absorb stuff about that industry and like how that business works and stuff, and she
obviously not, because I can't remember the name of that.
Yeah. Haven't absorbed that much, have you? Yeah.
Okay, flagship. That's the
cool.
One. Flagship housing or something.
Cool. We'll give them a shout out now for all 13 of my listeners.
Flagship housing, all to the flagship housing brothers.
Yeah.
But they've she gets some interesting calls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get a sort of similar thing with so Lucy's she works in property, and she's super interested in investment and shares and equity and assets and all that sort of stuff. And I've found that I'm more I always sort of want before I worked in recruitment, I was never interested in recruitment, and even to be honest, most of the time I was working in recruitment, I wasn't interested in recruitment. But by the end of it, I'd worked in it for 6 years, and by the end of it, I was actually quite interested in it, how resourcing works, and the sort of projects and programs that you need, and headcount and timesheets and budgeting and all the rest of it. And I wonder is that sad that it's like, you know, as long as you're locked into a I mean, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like eventually we'll beat you down and you will get into this as well. It's like a manager of McDonald's. Like, did you actually want to be a manager of McDonald's, or like, or did you just sort of did they wear you down and slowly you became interested in burger hygiene and fucking.
I'm interested in burger hygiene.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
who's not?
Yeah, I want my burgers to be hygienic for sure.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, man. Look, we need to wrap this up because we've been chatting for a while. So, yeah, thanks very much for.
Have we?
Yeah.
How long have we been talking for?
About an hour, I think.
Have we?
Yeah.
Have we talked much about Vine? I feel like we went off track a bit.
We started at about 7:30, I think, and then it's almost 9. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow. Time flies when you're talking shares stuff. But yeah, I was going to say, so if people want to catch up with your comedy, parody, piss take vids, then they can check you out, Matt James Comedy, on Facebook or YouTube. Are you on YouTube now?
Matthew James. I'm on YouTube. I've always been on YouTube.
Sweet.
But it's just haven't got the following.
Well, let's change that with my 13 listeners.
Yeah, of course. I think you should do another podcast where you do cocaine for the whole thing.
Do you think?
They're just like 10-hour podcasts.
Like no guests.
No guests.
Just me talking to myself.
I think you should have guests, but then you just do cocaine for the whole thing, and it just goes on for about 10-20 hours.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
The longest podcast. Try and do the longest podcast in the world. Is there a record for that? I think you should.
Don't know. If there is, I think we could beat it as long as we had the cocaine supplies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks very much, Matt James. And yeah, people check him out on Facebook, YouTube, and not Vine, because that's gone. Forget Vine. And
no, check me out on Vine. Check me out on Vine.
And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. Ciao for now. Bye.